Hello, I'm Marty Nubbins, and you're listening to Pod Against Evil.
Oh my goodness, yes, and welcome to Pod Against Evil. I feel I have a very felt feeling today, Travis. Yeah. Yes, it's just overcoming me. Well, you know, it doesn't really matter who you are. To me, you can always feel like a shining star, and that's what I feel like this episode of Pod Against Evil is going to be. And it is amazing to be here with you, my shining star, my co-host. Travis, say hi.
Hi.
That's my Travis Nubbins over there. The redheaded Nubbins, I guess.
Sure.
No, I've tried to figure out like cute little puppet nicknames for us, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. I am, of course, Nick.
It's gonna be weird.
Nick, the Merc with the mic, and of course we have a special guest with us, Les Weiler again. Les, say hi.
Hi. I think I'm wearing out my specialness. I'm a frequent guest.
I know,
Friend
but we want to keep you feeling special. You know?
Thank you.
Like, to us, it's always special talking with you.
I'm always a shining star.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I did, for those of you wondering, I hopefully at this point I have put up pictures of our puppets on Instagram and the social media and stuff that I bought for the specific episode. And I'm going to see if I can't put in some audio of the podcast with us with some of the videos of the puppets dubbed over.
I'm still not entirely uncertain that you didn't just make a voodoo doll of me. I'm very worried.
They were really good dolls, though. I got them off of Amazon. Let me tell you kids at home, don't look up blonde-haired, blue-eyed dolls on the Googles. You get weird
that sounds
results.
like a horror show, man.
Yeah.
Like, best case scenario, that's nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's like, I need a doll that looks like me. Oh, what's this? Aryan.net. Oh boy, no. Okay, we're gonna go away from that. But yes, it's the puppet episode, guys. Oh my goodness, I'm very excited for this one. I've been excited since I saw the promotional material for the season 3 trailer way back when. Feels like forever ago now.
It's been like what, 3 months, 4 months?
Man,
honestly,
I gotta tell you,
the episode delivered so much better than even the coming off of the trailer going, was that a felt puppet? And the episode was even better than I expected. It's my new favorite Stand Against Evil episode.
Oh, 100% agree. Yeah. At least it's a strong contender for favorite. We have a lot of strong contenders this season. At this point, we've had the Kaiju parody, the Hex Files, and now the puppet episode.
Vampire Creek before or after, I forget.
What's that?
Now my timing is all messed up because I kept talking about how Vampire Creek at this episode got mixed up.
No, Vampire Creek's next week.
Vampire Creek's next week.
Or no, not next week, but next episode.
Next episode, yes.
Right, it's still being released at the same time, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. So, yeah, now we're all messed up. But yeah, a lot of really good favorite episode contenders this year. We'll try and once the season wraps up, we'll reconvene and see which ones are our favorites. But this one's real good. And you know what else is real good? Help and support the podcast. You can do that by helping us out by subscribing on iTunes and YouTube. And you can, of course, always leave us a review anywhere you listen to the podcast, especially on iTunes. Those 5-star reviews really help us out. Beat that algorithm. Always trying to beat that algorithm. And if you want to follow us on our social medias, you can do that at Pod Against Evil at Twitter or Instagram. Check out our puppet pics; they're real good. And Facebook at Pod Against Evil, or you can email us at podagainstevil@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out Les and his many podcasting projects, including the TV Dudes and The Good Die Young. I'm very excited. I'm working through some homework for the season 2 that I'm helping out with right now, and it is bonkers. Can't wait for you guys. Can't wait for you guys to listen to it. But with that rigmarole out of the way, should we get the episode started, guys?
Let's do it.
All right, so we open I'm sorry, Jess. You have this down, right?
Yes, I have the whole passive-aggressive Chiron written down.
Yeah, when we were watching it, you made a point of stop, I want to write this down.
It was way too long to just remember a whole thing.
Very expensive drone shot.
We open on a somewhat expensive drone shot. How expensive is it, Travis?
It's just an expensive drone shot of cemetery. Look, it was either this drone shot or a rap party. Enjoy your fucking drone shot.
I love this passive-aggressive Chiron. And also probably not a joke. I don't know if they had a rap party or maybe they had it later. But considering how little time they have on set, it was probably nowhere near when they were actually done wrapping up the episodes.
They just hand out cups of Stan's beer to everybody as they leave.
Well, from what I hear I actually saw some people posting pics now that the season is going up. I see some pics posting from the rap parties and stuff. And some they got puzzles. They got Stan Against Evil puzzles brought out, which was really, really cool.
And I would have given them attacked by owls.
Yes, I was gonna say, you should give them an owl keychain that just fucks up that puzzle, or the puzzle should come with a piece missing, and then the piece is on an owl keychain or something like that. I would have gone the extra mile, but puzzle's cool. Puzzle's cool.
Just release
anyway, yes. Anyway, we open up with whisperings. What is this doll whispering, Travis?
Nubbins.
I don't know why this strikes me as funny as it is. It's just that the puppet whispers its own name, like the Nubbins.
It's like a Pokemon.
It just strikes as this weird chord in me of what? And
it's one of those things I feel like, I don't know if they tried it first. It was this shot is too silent. They can't tell what's going on. So they had to add something in to be well, they'll know now.
Oh, okay. I think you get it from the low angle, and because he's tooling through the city, or the town, I should say, and he ends up at the toy store. And did anyone catch the name of the toy store?
It was called the junk. It was someone's junk drawer. I couldn't. I couldn't tell the name.
I couldn't catch the name either. I saw junk drawer, but I couldn't catch the name of it. And he finds his way into an old man, the owner. They zoom in on his shoes for whatever reason. And is this a reference that I'm missing? Because these shoes are crazy. These are way too colorful shoes for this guy. And I didn't recognize him at first, but he did seem vaguely familiar, this shop owner. And he's, yelling about homeless Jerry.
Homeless Jerry, is that you?
He's worried about the noises he's hearing. And then he says something that triggers my memory here. And he asks in a question, Pepper? Is that you? And I was like, Pepper? Holy shit. This is the guy from the ending of season 2. The guy that has...
Pepper was his little dog.
Yes, or is it the opening of season 3? No, it's the ending of season 2. Yeah, where he travels back in time, and he has the little dog, and he's like, "That's illegal." This is that same guy.
Yeah.
Yes. and I'm willing to bet that's why the shoes. That I'm sure he was wearing the same goofy shoes.
Oh, I see. It's a little.
Or it may also be because they show the shoes sticking out from under the cloth when Evie and Leon are there investigating the body, so it's the same. He's the dead one.
Could be.
I was going to mention that they show the shoes
quick way to ID the body. Yeah.
Oh, I got you. But yes, he is attacked by a Nubbin, a doll,
a felt puppet,
a puppet. A very, just a mean-spirited puppet.
Surprise!
It is reminding me of Chucky in a lot of ways, for those of you who watch the Child's Play movies. And what I love...
He's just kind of a little jerk.
Well, what I love about the Child's Play movies is that they're very creepy and nuanced until the doll talks. And then the doll just goes... Fuck you, you fucking bitch, you son of a...
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Yeah, the doll is just a straight-up serial killer nut job. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this reminds me of that, only they reveal it way earlier. That they don't bury the lead at all.
Yeah.
And then he seems to, he definitely kills the shop owner. There's a splash of
to death.
There's a splash of blood on what appears to be another ventriloquist doll that I swear to God is Slappy from the Goosebumps.
It's way creepier than like the actual Nubbins dolls.
Well, that's because Slappy is fucking terrifying. So I watched Goosebumps as a kid, and the only one that legit terrified me, like, oh, these are all fun and like for kids, the one that was actually scary was fucking Slappy.
Mm-hmm.
Slappy was actually too scary for that age group, in my opinion.
Yeah, Slappy definitely qualifies for that, like, what parent ever let their kid have this doll?
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of how I felt about the Chucky doll, too, of like, you crazy parents, like, who bought that?
Right?
I once visited a aunt that had old school traditional toys for their kid, and they had one of these ventriloquist dolls, and I was like, "What the fuck is that doing in this kid's room?" I would never sleep with that, and I'm a fully grown man, this kid is just sleeping with this on a rocking chair next to him. Fuck that.
That would just be nightmare inducing.
Yeah. But it's not, believe it or not the most nightmare-inducing toy in this episode.
No, we have to get to Denise's.
We'll get to that in just a second, because I have a story about that. But back to the crime scene, because we go to the opening, and after we come back from the opening, it is we have Evie and Drinkwater.
The Wonder Duo.
The Wonder Duo trying to solve this murder mystery where there's this body filled with just tiny, tiny bites all over the place.
I've never seen this many bites on one person. They're just so tiny and consistent.
And Travis, do you remember what Drinkwater's theory is?
I believe it was a small shark riding a dog.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Checks out. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I follow the logic here. Don't see why why Evie shoots it down right away.
Yeah. It's a very running theme with Drinkwater this season. Like, you think what I'm thinking? No, Leon. No one could possibly be thinking what you're thinking.
It's at least the second time we've done it, as far as my count. And who should show up but Denise? And Denise is looking for what? Fermentation barrels. And it's like, oh, I'm looking for my dad. Dad sent me for fermentation barrels. And I love that Evie's like, I know I'm wrapped up in this murder and I got to do this thing, but I can't not ask, what does your dad need with fermentation barrels? Oh, he's starting his own brewery in his garage. See, it's definitely not like
tool shed. It was his tool shed.
Oh, it was his tool shed.
Yeah, which is probably even worse.
This tool shed we've never seen before in any of the episodes.
No.
And
this is like the furthest I've ever seen Stan comfortably away from the house, I think.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And so Denise gets distracted in her mission because she sees the Nubbins family puppets.
Yes.
And she's especially struck with Marty Nubbins, although the whole family is there. What was it? Groovy Gordy, Convoy Kathy, Peace Bear, and Marty Nubbins himself. And what was the last one?
Something
hipster, vaguely racist.
It's the 70s.
Jive Turkey. That's what it was.
It already comes out. Like, I was already kind of had my head cocked to the side when Leon was like trying to explain it to Evie of like, it doesn't matter if you're a hippie or a bear or a shark or black or a pimp or like.
Yep.
And like when he got to pimp, I was like, wait. I mean, I know I should have stopped you at bear or shark, but pimp, and then they showed Jive Turkey, and then their entire explanation for Jive Turkey is 70s.
Yeah, I love that they showed Jive Turkey, and me and Travis both went, "Oh no," because it has the hat and the suit and it has a cane. And anytime I watch a comedy, especially when I watch an old school, like it's funny that they do mention the 70s. Anytime they mention an old school comedy, if I hear something like, "Oh, this is Jive Turkey," my sphincter tightens just a little bit. Like,
like go rewatch Airplane. Yeah,
I speak Jive. And I got a little nervous because I'm like, oh no, I feel like we're playing with fire here.
Oh, it gets a little bit better though too when they say the slogan for the show.
Yes, so they sing the theme song, her and Denise and Leon, because they're both fans of the Nubbins Family Power Hour. And the theme song is an upbeat theme song that goes a little like...
Oh, doesn't matter who you are. To us, you are a shining star. It's the Nubbins Family Power Hour. Ha, ha. Keep it in the family.
Which I don't like. I gotta tell you, it really... They say it like multiple times in the episode, and it's just creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it Convoy Kathy? Like, that's not great either. Like,
yeah, it's just like one step away from incest, a game the whole family can play.
Yep. But what I love with this scene is they go on this whole entire little rant. She gets so excited about the Nubbins dolls, and then Denise finally realizes there's a dead body.
Yes,
like after she, yeah.
It got to the point where I forgot there was a dead body there. I was
her turn around and like, oh my god! So this is free now.
This is free.
Which is weird because she spends so much time thinking of like, which puppet should I take? I'm assuming she could only afford one, but she was just going to steal it anyway.
Yeah.
So why didn't she just take them all?
Right.
So she ends up making her way back to Stan's tool shed. Stan asks her if she's got the fermentation barrels. Of course she doesn't, but she has a puppet, and she goes into the house to enjoy said puppet. And I love Stan's response here is just like, he just looks up into the sky and he says, "You're really working that mysterious ways thing, aren't you?" Getting a real pass on that whole thing.
Oh man. Just even before he says the line, his slow look up to God of like, you.
What did I do to deserve this?
It's so great.
Indeed. The next scene we have here is the most terrifying scene in the episode, in my opinion.
No, definitely.
Because we open with or I should say, we cut to the next scene with Denise in her bed sleeping, and she is sleeping with not the Nubbins doll, but another creature.
What is under her arm, man? Is it an
It's a flesh-colored Goomba.
Is it an adipose from like Doctor Who? Nearly like.
So
no, it's a Goomba from Mario, but flesh-colored. It's very disturbing.
Yes, with the bags under its eyes.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Fugglers, which is the name of this toy.
Oh man, I didn't know this is a thing. Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
there's
oh boy.
Yeah, you're about to go down a whole rabbit hole here, guys. We had an interview with Molly Coffey earlier, and we're going to have her on as a special guest in just a minute, talking about some of the other production design on this episode. But in our previous interview, we went down a whole rabbit hole with the Fugglers thing that she collects, and these are her Fugglers in Denise's room.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Oh, that's amazing.
Take a minute, just go Google Fugglers real quick.
Okay, so I won't even bother, because here it is. Here is, you go to Fuggler.com, which they encourage you not to do. It opens up with adopt a monster at your own risk. Some of these are just, like, they have pictures of them that just say ew, and one is just why. So here's the adoption process. Step 1. Look deep into the vacant eyes of all the Fugglers up for adoption. Narrow it down to the one that repulses you the least. Or the most. We don't know your life. Step 2. Take a hot sec to consider why you're actively sabotaging your own happiness. Step 3. Choose to adopt your Fuggler. When you tap Adopt Me, we'll follow his trail of destruction until we track that toothy weirdo down, and he'll probably be gnawing on chicken bones in a dumpster. Step 4. We will capture your Fuggler using only the most humane and industry-leading Fuggler wrangling techniques. The Fuggler will bite and fart outrageously. We will persevere. Step 5. Your Fuggler will be forcibly stuffed into a Fuggler-proof cardboard traveling box and mailed to your home. He will try to escape that box, so don't be surprised if it shows up at your door mangled as heck. Step 6. Step 6 has a Fuggler holding a match threateningly at like a house. What is this? Step 6, remove your Fuggler from its box with great caution. Immediately regret your decision. And then you're done.
And the very, very bottom
so
says, "What?
good.
Why are you still here?" And it's got a button saying, "Give me a Fuggler."
Indeed, yeah. So I ask you, what insane person would adopt one of these creatures? What insane, absolute, horrible... I have one in my hands.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So
I don't know, but for no good reason, I have a drawer full of old dentures in my house, and I'm desperately in the mood now to put those teeth in stuffed animals.
Yes, so it has like human...
Because the key quality for me on Fugglers is human teeth, the human looking teeth. And same with the Nubbins dolls. That's what kept skeeving me out the whole episode, was like, dolls shouldn't have teeth like that.
So yes, we'll have some pictures on our Instagram and stuff of our own personal podcast, Fuggler. But what it looks like right now is this little teddy bear that has mismatched eyes, is grimacing at us, and has human teeth in its mouth in some sort of frown. It is the most terrifying purchase I have ever made. And I don't remember making the purchase. It just showed up here.
I believe that.
So, yeah, I'm going to put that thing away. I don't like it, and I'm going to make sure... Hopefully, someone keep an eye on it, make sure it's in the same place as where I left it.
It probably won't be.
But yeah, after that diatribe, where were we? Oh, right, the much less terrifying monster. The Marty Nubbins doll is staring at Denise as she wakes up, and she throws it in the closet, and
just tells it you can sleep there tonight.
Only for it to wake up in bed with her later, to where she throws it in the trash. And I was thinking, like, no, that's how you get garbage pail kids, and no one wants that. This is where we transition to Stan's liquor
his little mini brewery.
Yeah, his little mini brewery.
And here comes the man to shut him down.
Indeed. And before we cut to the man shutting him down, we're actually going to take a small break and talk with Molly Coffee about this, about one of the things being this crazy setup brewery that Stan has, along with some of the other production designs of this episode. But we'll be back right after this. And welcome back to Pot Against Evil with our very special guest, Molly Coffee. Molly, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Molly, I am so happy to have you on again. We interviewed you once before, but I feel like that conversation got derailed by Fugglers a lot. Like, Fugglers took up a lot of conversation time.
You're saying that won't come up again?
Whoa, no. At this point in the episode, we've already talked about Fugglers because that's such like an early scene. We should have already talked about it. But yes, I'm so glad to have you back on. Would you like to quick remind the audience what it is you do for Stand Against Evil and how you contribute to our favorite show?
Absolutely. I'm the production designer for all 3 seasons of Stand Against Evil.
That's right. So you are the one behind some of our favorite background gags and just set designs of stuff like, the... we were talking before about the magazines, the Sensual Hobo magazines, Divorced Female Sheriff, that sort of thing. If you guys are wondering where I got my shirt, Divorced Female Sheriff, that's been showing up on my Instagram and the podcast, Twitter, and stuff like that, that was a design that Molly actually loaned me so that I could make that custom shirt, because that's actually one of my favorite jokes in Stand Against Evil. I don't know why. It just strikes me as very funny.
It's a very long-running joke at this point.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it's good when things like that we spend time on actually hits home, because you never know. There's that's one of the things that you learn about working in the art department is like half of the work that you do never gets on camera or never gets appreciated.
Sure. Well, I'm glad to have brightened your day by madly typing you on the internet. Do you remember this T-shirt from 3 seconds of this one scene that Janet wore in it? I need to have it. Please.
Yes, absolutely.
I must make it mine. But yes, we were talking about the Nubbins episode today. Nubbin But Trouble.
Which is amazing.
But before we talk about that, I wanted to talk to you about a previous episode, 303, Larva My Life, because you designed the miniature Willard's Mill in that scene. And I gotta say, great job. Bravo.
Hey.
I loved it.
Hey. That was definitely a labor of love for sure. There were a couple of evenings and weekends that me and my art director, Matt, were just in my shop cutting out cardboard and hot gluing our fingers together.
I love it. I especially love the Stump Beer Factory with the barrel and everything. That was pretty cool. And I love the Doll Factory, which has a doll that I'm not sure if it shows up in this episode or not, but it looks familiar to me.
Should, yeah. It's from it's the decapitated head of Doofus, who is from my short film Magic the Gathering the musical.
Oh, it's from your short film.
Yep.
For those of you unfamiliar with Molly's short film, she made a film about Magic the Gathering with puppets, and they sing. So,
which sounds terrifying and amazing.
Have you not watched it, Travis?
I have not watched it yet.
There's a rap battle card duel in it.
That's awesome.
I can only, it's like, fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that's all I gotta say, is that this is where it's at, considering my card game entertainment. But I'm so glad that he found his way onto Stan's, into Willard's Mill. I love it. That's I'm gonna hold that memory like a treasure to me, of just like, this weird thing is inside this weird thing, and it just makes both of them much more entertaining to me.
Well, it's funny because the head hasn't been reattached to his body yet, so it's just sitting in the chair beside my desk at my shop.
Oh no!
I know.
That's not disturbing at all.
Well, knowing Molly, who sleeps with Fugglers around, I can only imagine she just has doll heads for slippers or something. But I also wanted to ask you about this episode specifically too, because we get a couple good sets and set design stuff in this episode, along with our puppet fun. One thing I want to ask you about is Stan's distillery in his garage,
which is only slightly illegal.
Well, I mean, on one level, I was like, Stan has a garage? Because I don't think we've ever seen Stan's garage before. I could be wrong.
No, you've definitely never seen his garage before.
Okay, that's you would definitely know, since you would be the one that would have to decorate it. So is all this stuff that Stan has necessary for a distillery? It looks like he's either like much less is he brewing beer than he looks like he's actually creating meth. Like, I don't think Walter White had as complex of a setup in this garage.
Yeah, well, it's funny because Jonathan DeRosa, who's the prop master, when we did you do a show and tell at the beginning of the season where you show them all the different things, and he had a bunch of different things that actually made sense to pitch for the distillery, and Dana was really quick to just be like, no, it can't make sense. It shouldn't make sense. So I actually asked if we could take care of it, and prop maker Jim Stacy and I basically went through and talked about, like using a gas can, using a pressure cooker, like using all these different bits, tubes that don't go anywhere, mason jars, like the whole 9 yards, to where it kind of, we went pretty far with it.
So you made a trailer park brewery, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the fact that, like, there was a person on there like, oh, well, this is how you would make a distillery that makes sense, and he was naysayed down like, no. No. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like that, what's that, channel thing where they make people like, hey, you've never seen Star Wars. Describe to me what Star Wars is about without having watched it. Like, that's like this, only with create for me what a distillery looks like without knowing how it works.
Right.
Which I think you would make this. Yeah, that. This is what I think that's what like tipped me off to it, was that, you know what? If I was forced to make a distillery, it would probably look like this, and I know I'd be 100% wrong about everything that was going on in it.
And probably blow yourself up.
Well, I definitely would definitely go blind if I ever actually drank anything out of it, for sure. Yeah. So I love that. I also love when we visit Kevin's place later. Kevin's place seems to be littered with just a bunch of
everything.
Just crazy stuff. I love, like, some of it's drawn like specific attention to, like the Bobcat Goldthwait. What's he learning? Japanese, like Japanese translations.
Right.
But there's stuff in the background. Like, did I notice a nice Jugs poster in the background?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of Kevin's jug band?
which is funny because that was weird happenstance. So the previous season, when we saw Kevin's in season 2, like we ended up shooting Kevin. We shot a couple of things the night before that weren't at Kevin's, and Dana kept making this joke, nice jugs, but we are not on set. Like nobody from our art department's on set while they were shooting. We had made that poster. It was already hanging in Kevin's. But he kept making a joke about nice jugs. The next day we have the poster hanging in and he walks in. He's like, "You guys turned around my joke that quickly?" It's like, yeah, totally. We definitely planned this.
You guys are just that good. That's all.
You just said it enough to where it was like seeped into her. Like, we need a poster, like something catchy. I don't know, but nice jugs really has a ring to me for whatever reason.
Right. Well, you want so bad to put in, really good jokes. But, it's hard sometimes when you only get like little tiny pieces of people's personalities, So, we caught on to the jug thing pretty quickly because of the, he talks about being in a jug band. During the Hex Marks the Tot episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's definitely a nice jugs poster. And again, like we just had fun writing all of the names of the bands on them. Again, it's like all these little things that we spend all this time on that you never get to see, really.
Well, it reminds me of my band Jug Life, rather than Thug Life, or the unsuccessful campaign to keep kids from doing drugs by doing jugs, not drugs, by getting involved in jug bands. But then the kids just got hooked on moonshine whiskey, and
it's so much worse.
It really, it was not helpful. So what else? Like, because everything in Kevin's moves so fast.
Well, I believe even Dana mentioned himself that like the police blankets were in there somewhere.
Yes, they're like, and I still hunted for them another time to try and they're like in a quick scene where you can see the police blankets that basically Kevin has collected over his numerous assaults throughout the
traumas
series.
Yep.
What other little clever things are in Kevin's house that we might have missed?
Well, it's funny because we did a poster. There's an additional poster in there that is, it was the back of one of the magazines in season 2, but it's about a train, about jumping trains and being, I think it was on one of the Sensual Hobo magazines. But Dana ended up loving that poster so much that I even got it printed, and he actually has it at his house, that poster.
Oh, man. I love that there's like a whole like article on jumping on the back of trains, like a proper technique for sensual hobos.
I mean, you gotta do it right.
I mean, I guess like if you're going to write articles for a sensual hobo magazine, that would be like it would be that bindle folding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like the proper way to trash dive. Like, come on.
Oh,
it's important things to know.
That's that is fantastic. Anything else that we might have missed?
Well, not necessarily. There's lots of taxidermied animals and things like that. Their records from season 2 end up reappearing of the band that he really likes. For the most part, it's just little weird stuff. But I wonder if you noticed that Kevin's house is a different location this season from last season.
Well, I noticed we didn't get a shot because I noticed in season 2 there's this cool hallway in Kevin's house in Hex Marks the Tot that kind of goes down and then forks almost. And I remember that specifically because I rarely see a house with that type of geography when it comes to hallways. And I noticed in this episode when we're fighting the Nubbins, never do we see that hallway.
Nope.
It really feels like the living room looks similarly decorated and lit the same. I don't think we ever see Kevin's place with the lights on. But I was wondering, I'm like, did they just not like, was the hallway it was occupied. A different set or like, so it's interesting that you do confirm like, oh, it is a different location.
Yeah, it was a different location.
Yeah, so I I of course love this place. Do we see? Yes, we see Denise's room for a hot minute in this episode. When we see the first Fuggler. And I love Denise's room. You mentioned before that you furnished it with basically a bunch of your stuff, which I find very interesting. And before this, I of course usually go for a picture when I put up the interviews to put up the person's picture in our little thumbnail. So last time I didn't have a picture of you. I didn't really know what you looked like. And then I grabbed one of your pictures from either IMDb or your Skype page. And I noticed, you holding a puppet and your outfit, which is very much a Denise outfit. Which I'm just wondering, is this a clever, were you wearing this for Halloween, or is this your regular, are you secretly Denise?
No, I'm not. Denise is
I like how her voice got higher during the
not very convincing, actually.
She tries to deny it by sounding more like Deborah Baker Jr. That's.
I will say that there was it was in between season 1 and season 2. I guess it was while we were prepping season 2. Heather and Jonna from the costume department came in and asked if I could go home and take a bunch of pictures of my clothes. And I said, why? And they said, well, because Dana wants us to make Denise's wardrobe a little bit more like your wardrobe. I said, what part? They're like, we don't know. Like, okay. So I just went home and took a bunch of pictures of my clothes, and I think it's a mishmash. They're little bits and pieces for sure that are influenced by my wardrobe.
Well, yeah, I find that to be kind of an honor, I think.
Yeah, well, I end up living somewhere between like hobo, where I am like covered with paint and wearing Dickies or army pants or big baggy shorts with cargo pockets, or
the sensual hobo,
fingerless gloves. Sure, I gotcha. Yeah,
absolutely. Or, I like to wear dresses with space cats and dinosaur bones on them.
It's a good mix.
I like my dolls with teeth, like any other good-natured American girl.
The pink dinosaur handbag is mine. Like, that was from my closet that Denise carries sometimes.
Wow. Molly, I love doing interviews with you because I feel like I learn so much more about you than almost any other person I ever know.
I think that's my main problem with them. They show the Nubbins in this episode is that they're supposed to be like, they show them like, oh my god, this is creepy. I'm like, no, everything else going on in Denise's room is so much more distracting.
I find the Fugglers so much more terrifying than the Nubbins. Okay, we're gonna, what, we've already probably had a conversation about it because they show up early in the episode, so I don't want to go on about it. But Fugglers terrify me. And. So Molly, thank you so much for coming on again. Before we let you go, was there any, did you at all get to play with I know you must be a fan of puppets considering the musical you made. Did you get a chance to, play with the Nubbins at all or interact with them while you were on set?
I did. I actually even got to puppeteer one of the nights. I got to be Jive Turkey. You were that Jive Turkey. Yeah, but just for one night. Like, the rest of the time it was Bill Bryan who built them. Is there any chance that you're going to get to talk to one of the guys from Autonomous about this episode?
Yeah, we're trying to talk to Mike Mcarty again about it.
Okay. Yeah. So he'll talk about it some, but the guy who built the puppets, Bill Bryan, is a little bit of a nerdgasm because he's very well known in the puppet world. So it was really cool having him on set. He's most well known for being the guy in the Stay Puft Marshmallow too.
Oh my goodness, he's the guy Ray summons. Oh no. Clear your mind, Ray. So it was really cool having him on set, and so getting a puppeteer beside him was kind of a dream come true. Well, that is fantastic. If I ever was prouder to call someone a Jive Turkey, I don't know when. But Thank you so much for joining us, Molly. We're gonna cut back to our actually. No, wait. Before we do that, I wanted to let you promote the film you're working on. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
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 Would you like to tell people about that?
Yeah, Kaylee Age 8. It is a feature film about a girl with autism who her mom suddenly dies, and she steals her mom's urn and goes on an adventure to spread her mom's ashes to turn her into a mermaid. It's a magical realism film. It's a mixture of animation and live action as her crayon drawings come to life in the film. And we're shooting in the spring, but we've been working on it for a long time, and I'm really excited to direct my first feature.
It's fantastic. We are excited to see it. Everyone, please go check out that film and help support Molly. We will be back with our regular episode right after this. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that talk with Molly Coffee. Oh my goodness, it's like we barely ever left. But where were we? Oh yes, the man was about to take away Stan's beer. Stan's Miller beer. Get it?
Nope, I think that's already taken.
And yeah, so I think what I love about the most I love about this scene is that when they tell him that he can't distribute, he's like, "Oh no, all these 11 barrels are for me." Like all of them?
Listen here there, Judge Judy. Sure, I may drink a little more than you, but that's only because I find it impossible to stop.
Which is like a very honest, depressing statement.
I've never heard someone admit alcoholism in such a way. It's really worrisome. No, I love better is even his reason for making the brewery. It's like, I will no longer be under the control of Big Beer. What am I supposed to do? Drive to the liquor store like an animal?
I did like that.
I have everything on premises.
And after they walk away, Stan decides to take a sip of his own beer.
A sip of Liquid America.
Liquid America is what he says.
Which, I'm sorry, but you could see the color in this glass is not okay.
It's really pale.
Well, it looks like it. It's a little oaky, and it has a bite. And that bite makes Stan blind.
Yep, Miller beer makes Stan blind. Keep that in your pockets, people.
Because we didn't have time to do both a blind Stan episode and a puppet episode, so they're one and the same.
Which is funny because
and this is where this thing eclipses other episodes for my favorite so far of just like
smashing the two into one.
Yeah,
which is great because we did see this like the next scene or one of the next scenes in the preview. Mm-hmm. And just like, oh, that's a really weird thing to happen. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we just assumed it was separate from the puppet.
How did Stan get like the, Capaldi's Sonic sunglasses and discover yoga? But like, no, it's so much better. He daredevils
What's
out.
So funny?
It's
What's
amazing.
so funny to me is the Daredevil references that show up here. Like, he says he has 24-hour blindness.
Just a little bout of...
It's just one of those standard...
Yeah. Like in Middleman, remember when, what's his name, had 48-hour amnesia? It's like that. Like...
It's like that. It's a standard thing. I've got 24... It's just one of those 24-hour blindness things.
So, I love that he immediately becomes Daredevil level badass with his senses powers. Like, my senses are heightened. I'm evolving. Crack a nut.
What?
just cracks a nut. Like, almond. Crack another one. Pistachio. You're not even trying to challenge me. And then you
can smell everything.
But then he runs into something immediately off screen.
No, I love it too, because he says, I can see with my ears. Like Jesus.
Like Jesus. I didn't know what that even meant. And we see him later meditating, and Denise comes in with a sandwich for him. And not only does he hear the different shirt she has put on because of the different thread counts screaming at him,
what?
But he can tell that it's what type of sandwich it is, and that it is heels for the bread.
Yes.
So,
what am I, a dog?
What am I, a dog?
Yeah,
that's a great line.
And he's like, it's the heel. And he mentions that he can sense evil coming.
We're in the presence of great danger now. I can feel it. It's vibrating inside of me. Put the sandwich down, go downstairs, lock up the house, and seal everything up. Namaste.
And Denise walks off. Apparently, Marty Nubbins was hiding right behind the door. And Stan throws the fucking knife that came with his sandwich at Marty Nubbins, catching him right in the fucking, arm with it. And...
This is expressly the scene whereby this episode became my favorite. when the puppet's behind the door And all right, so they've already twisted my expectation by having the Stan blind thing and the beer being such a great setup that follows through the episode so beautifully. But then when the puppet's behind the door, that Stan just calmly puts his hand down on the knife and throws it with like, Scott Glenn stick level accuracy of like, bam. And pins and then the puppet arcs blood out of its friggin' arm. Like it's the combination thing, like the puppet just sprays blood. I mean, when he dismembers this thing, that the puppet throws it back and he catches the friggin' knife. It's so great.
He puts it in his teeth just to spit it back out.
I get Ninja Stan out of this. He puts it in his teeth. It's so good.
and then they have a battle for the ages in which they punch each other for a little bit, and then suddenly the puppet gets a bite on Stan's heel and threatens to bite off Stan's ding dong.
I'm gonna bite your ding dong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll bite your ding dong.
Which Stan's like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna bite your fucking arm off, and he does it, and there's this great spray of blood, and there's this gore. Like, what the fuck?
But he tears his ear off in the same manner, like wonderful spray
he
of
goes
blood.
Mike Tyson on this fucking puppet's ear and rips the shit off, and he's so full of blood. He's like a late stage in the Child's Play movies where the Childs start to become human. And they have like human meat inside them. And he throws Marty down the stairs.
Yeah, he ripped off he cut his arm, ripped off one of the legs, and bit his ear off.
This is one of the most successful fights Stan has ever had.
Yeah.
He has fucked this puppet up. And the puppet is like, oh, okay, we'll be back for you tonight. Yeah, I assume just crawls out of there. Because he's just... And as we see... because Stan tries to eat some of his sandwich in victory, and he's like, heels, ick. And I love that we transition to Kevin's place, and
just
that
out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, like why do the puppets even fuck with Kevin?
I don't know.
Like it just seems mean.
Like unless they wanted to purposely get them all into Kevin's house because it's less like they have less power there than they would at Stan's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, Kevin is trying to learn Japanese by listening to a Bobcat Goldthwait record.
Konnichiwa. Hello. Konnichiwa. Hello. Konnichiwa. Hello.
Yeah, that's...
I honestly, I've never wanted any of the fake stuff that they've made in the show more. I would trade all of it. Like, I would trade all of your female divorce sheriff t-shirts,
for
all
that
of it.
record?
For that record.
Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Hello.
I also want to learn Italian with Gilbert Gottfried. Like, I want a whole series of these.
Oh, boy.
Learning Italian with Gilbert Gottfried would be great, too.
Grazie. Thank you. Now I'm just thinking of famous voice people just doing...
I'm very sweaty. Where is the bathroom in this airport?
This is Christopher Walken teaching you Spanish. Las Los Biblioteca. Where is the library? How do you say soldering iron in Spanish? Anyway, I lost my place. What were we talking about?
I've gotten off topic.
I believe Marty shows up to attack.
Oh, Kevin, and how Kevin had this up so loud he didn't hear the duct tape.
Like, and especially duct tape is so loud, but.
Oh my God, it's so loud.
Well, to be fair, Marty does also like turn up he turns up the volume afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Also,
that's right.
How does a one-armed puppet tie up a person?
Bobcat's pretty captivating.
I feel like this scene was out of order.
Yeah.
Because later we see that the Marty can barely move, and so it's weird that this scene comes after that, or comes before that. And Kevin, of course, he's listening to the record all night, and it kind of insinuates that Marty bites him too, but he doesn't seem hurt afterwards.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I hadn't already seen the vampire episode, I was genuinely worried that like we were killing Kevin off, and I was like, man, does Dana just not want to do Kevin?
No.
Like, you can't kill Kevin. And then I was like, no, I've seen chronologically after this, Kevin survives this. But the way they leave it, I really feared for Kevin's safety there of like, man, these puppets are about to fuck you up.
This is thing is that we keep picking on Kevin, like ever since the baby episode, like the demon baby. I was like, oh, okay, that's our joke is that we always put Kevin in peril for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, well, and we go even further this time of finding out more about like Kevin has an amazing, wonderful backstory, is great, and no one cares.
Of course.
In fact, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, well, Marty makes his way back to the toy shop to summon the other Nubbin's puppets from the family power.
Our reunited.
Yep. So they're all in on it now. And we see back at Kevin's place where Evie and Drinkwater are taking a statement. And apparently Kevin is deaf and he cannot hear, which made me think like, oh, are we doing a whole see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil thing?
Yeah, the monkeys thing.
Yeah, because like Stan is blind, Kevin can't hear, and so the rest of this thing I was like, okay, so there's got to be a mute person, right? Or someone but no, there's actually a slight reference later that I think they might be pointing it out to.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Anyway, Stan shows up in order to kind of help out or see what's going on with Kevin, and this is where
Denise is with him. I think that was more of the reason that Denise wanted to make sure he was okay.
Yeah. And so they're all there. It's actually a rare occurrence where everybody is in the siege house together. Normally we're usually down at least one person, but the whole cast is actually in this house. And I kind of like it. I like that they're all like weathering this storm together. It's a rare moment for like everybody to be on the same location, so I thought it was fun. And boy, this is where it starts, guys. The siege on the house.
Yes.
That
Trapped
is
in the house by killer puppets.
the greatest siege on a house by little adversary since the scene from Small Soldiers. All we were missing was some Spice Girls music to do guerrilla warfare too. And I love this scene because it just starts the movie references and then they don't stop. Like, it starts off with a Warriors reference of like, hey, come out to play, with the bottles and everything, with the felt hand holding the bottles. And to speak a little bit more about that, we are going to go to our second special guest, Mcarty, who not only was doing the special effects for this episode and helping with the puppets, but also is the voice of Marty Nubbins. So we're going to go to him real quick to talk about some of the effects in this great final battle sequence. And we'll be back right after this. All right, and welcome back to Pod Against Evil. We are talking with one Mike Mcarty. Mike, say hi.
Hi. How you guys doing?
Mike, you work with Autonomous Effects. And you worked on this episode and all this episodes for Stand Against Evil. And not only that, but you are the voice behind Marty Nubbins. Am I correct? There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah. They tweaked my voice a little bit with some pitch stuff, but I think it came out awesome.
Yeah, it sounds great. We had you on before to talk about some of the, season 1 and 2 particulars. This is the first time we've had you on for season 3, and boy, what an episode! It
was fun, right?
Oh my goodness, I love this episode so much. I especially love the point we're at now, where we left off, was the siege of the house with all the Nubbins that have been have they been infested with demons? Is that the logic here? Like they're all, or are they all being controlled by Marty, who's been infested by a demon?
No, they're all individual little demons.
All individual demons. Got it. So, and I love the design for all of them. Convoy Kathy, Marty himself, Groovy Gordy, Peace Bear. The one I wanted to ask you about is that when someone comes to you and asks for a Jive Turkey puppet, what exactly runs through your mind? Because,
because they were talking 70s, immediately we just went to, 70s fashion, looking like a pimp, kind of purple and gaudy and fun flare clothes. So yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer. It was like, no, it's got to be like this.
Yeah, I like to see the parallels in a lot of the puppets. Like the Peace Bear kind of like reminds me of like a Care Bear.
Yeah, he totally reminded me of Richard Simmons. I don't know if you remember Richard Simmons, the health guru.
Oh, yeah, he's got the little fro on his head. Yeah.
I looked at him, I thought, that's Richard Simmons.
That's funny. I also love, Groovy Gordy, who seems like basically anyone in the Muppet Band.
Yeah, he's like a cross between the Muppet Band and Tommy Chong.
Tommy Chong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course Convoy Kathy, which all the other ones seem to have nicknames that I kind of get. Like, what is Convoy Kathy's nickname? Where's like the convoy part come from?
She's she's like a female trucker.
Oh, she's got the trucker getup. Oh, I gotcha. Okay,
yeah, so it's like the short shorts and yeah, her look was just kind of like trucker and kind of trashy.
Gotcha. All right. So I have like a million questions about the special effects in this episode and some of the puppetry and all that good stuff. One of the things I always wonder about is the hand manipulation for puppets, especially in this one because they do the Warriors thing with the bottles. Marty does. Yeah. And I'm like, how do you like do that? Are like they glued on and then like there's a string with the attachment there and then you add the sound in an ADR? Like how is that effect done?
Well, there were some miniature plastic bottles that the props guy, Jonathan, had created that we were able to kind of tack to the fingers of the puppet. And then you just kind of shake it, to kind of make it look like you're jingling it around. But the close-up is actually, we had the wardrobe department take the same material and make a glove, like a 4-fingered glove that I can't remember who wore. I think we all tried it, but it was hard to like mash the bottles onto the fingers over the glove. So if somebody wore the glove, and then it might have been actually Dave Snyder, who was our makeup department head down there, and he just kind of. We also added a little glue to kind of mash those bottles onto the fingers just enough to get like 2 or 3 clinks out of it. So the close-up of the clinking is an actual human hand wrapped in like Muppet skin, if you will, clinking bottles together.
Interesting. I always thought, like, for whatever reason, I always thought, like, that seems like it would probably be hard to pull off. I don't know why. I have no experience in puppetry, but I feel like that would be a pain in the ass.
Immediately we thought this is going to be a pain in the ass, and we just didn't even worry about it until we got down to it. And we're like, okay, well, let's just do it like this. It was one of those things that we just kind of figured out on the fly. It was like, well, we know we're going to get some small bottles and attach them to the puppet, and if that works, great. And then when Dave was down there, we said, hey, why don't you take that material and just hand it over to the wardrobe department, have them make something, and that ended up being the sort of a combination of the two ideas.
Yeah, I really love the effect working here. You guys worked hard, and I think it really paid off. I love the final siege sequence, especially the ends of some certain puppets that we have here. Mm-hmm. The Groovy Gordy gets a particularly gruesome headshot.
Yeah,
that I love. Like, what's it do? Like, do you just have like a regular like a human blood squib that you use for a regular like on the puppet, or did you have to rig up something specifically for this puppet?
The effects department rigged up a squib, and we put it behind the head of the guy or of the puppet, and so that was all practical. And then I think there's like a digital spot hit in the forehead that they added later. A lot of the puppet blood stuff, except for that one, was done digitally because of the fact that on a show like this, you shoot things out of order and you're moving pretty fast. And we couldn't destroy the puppets or get blood all over that material because it wasn't going to wash out. And we didn't have enough time to make a whole bunch of them, so we literally had one for each guy, except for Marty we had 2 of. So we couldn't get them all bloody and then have them be in another scene later. So that's why they did a lot of digital stuff.
I see. Okay. I also wanted to ask you about Jive Turkey's demise in the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
Because I love the way it just jerks around and the stuffing comes up out of that, and just at first I thought for whatever reason that all the puppets had blood in them, and that they would just there would just be this geyser of blood, but then there's the stuffing effect or feathers. Is it feathers or stuffing that's flying out of there?
I think it's feathers. Again, that's something they added digitally.
Right.
They just kind of threw that in there. The only practical part was Bill Bryan was underneath the sink with his hand up, sticking out of the garbage disposal, and then he just did the whole, the lines of dialogue, and then they were smashing him in the hand with the pen, on the turkey's head, and then when they flipped the switch, he did the whole whip his arm around in a circle and then slowly bring it down.
I really did enjoy that. And, you mentioned Bill Bryan, doing some of the puppet work here, which, of course, a household name in puppet work. And if you see him, let him know that I greatly appreciate the work he did in here, because I just love the way the puppets move in this. There's something sinister about it while still being playful, and I'm not sure exactly what that comes off, how that comes off in the movement of the puppets, but I really like it.
He's a good guy. He's a lot of fun, and he's really talented. And we hired him to come on for about a month and just put all those together. And he pretty much did it by himself. He had his son come down and help him for a little while, which is good. Oh, sorry, I have to decline that. I have to tell that person not to call me.
That is absolutely fine. But yeah, I always respect his work as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So the man of my nightmares, or Ray's nightmares to be more specific. But yeah, I can't tell you how much I enjoy this episode and just all the cool effects work and stuff. And just the last question I have is that how do you have a puppet shoot an Uzi? I won't ask where it comes from, because I don't think I don't think there is an answer, and if there is, I kind of don't want one. I think I want to leave that one up as a mystery.
Who needs an answer? It's just cool that there it is.
Yep, there's an Uzi, but how do you set up a shot like that with a puppet working a machine gun?
We got one that was size appropriate for the puppet. We basically sent the guy, the props guys, dimensions of Peace Bear and said, we mocked up a cardboard gun and said something around this size would be good. And he found something that looked pretty good. And then I think probably painted it to look a little bit more realistic. And then we just literally wired it right to the hands. I mean, a lot of the stuff was done so fast and furious. I mean, all the siege stuff with the puppets outside, we shot all in one evening. And it was pouring rain for half of it. So we really only did that stuff in about 5 hours. And it was 2 cameras set up. At one point, there was a third camera set up. And it's these guys are over here shooting a close-up of Mcarty, and these guys are over here shooting Peace Bear. And we just quickly took some baling wire and wired it right to his hands. And then I got below the camera and puppeteered it. And I was holding one arm out in front with the front of the machine gun and puppeteering his head and just laughing and shaking the gun back and forth. And then they put all the flashes in digitally.
That is fantastic. I love the idea of the requisitions orders behind shows like this or an episode like this of okay, here's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need a puppet-sized machine gun, an Uzi, I'm going to need a turkey size, puppet turkey sized pimp coat to put on my Jive Turkey. I need a rainbow wig, and like there's just like the list here has to look like the writings of an insane person, and I absolutely love it.
A lot of that stuff Bill made too. Like he made the pimp hat and the coat and all that stuff. Made the cane. He would go shopping every now and again and be like, I'm going to go out for a couple hours, and he'd come back like from a thrift store with some children's clothes and a couple of other things. Like, here's a cool material we use for this, and here's this for that. And yeah, he just during that month he outfitted them completely.
Wow, that is fantastic. All right, well, before we let you go here, Mike, I wanted to ask you if there was any other episodes that were your particularly favorite to work on as far as special effects goes. What were some of the other fun challenges you had this season?
I think my next best favorite would be Larva My Life with the Mothman.
Sure.
Because it's just so, if you're a fan of any of the 60s and 70s Godzilla movies and all that kaiju stuff, it's so spot on. Mm-hmm. Especially if you've ever seen the movie War of the Gargantuas.
Oh, sure, yeah. We had a big conversation with Dana Gould about War of the Gargantuas.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And of course the previous film, Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Absolutely. So
kaiju films.
Yeah, like that's the song in that Deborah sings is sort of like a reimagined version of the song from War of the Gargantuas, which is completely silly. I think that one is like the words get stuck in my throat, and I can't remember what Deb's version is. Something like the thoughts get stuck in my head or stuck in my mouth or something like that.
The thoughts get stuck in my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just a reimagining of that, and it's only going to key on those people that actually have seen that movie. They'll be like, oh my God, I get that. And the other people are going to be like, what the hell is that? That doesn't make any sense. But the fight in the miniature town, amazing. Mm-hmm. David Koechner was great. Anytime you work on a star like that and you have to like do a head cast of him and a makeup, and it's over his eyes, and we had to lead him by hand to set because he couldn't see very well. So he did most of that fight fairly blind. He's looking through really, really foggy, dark lenses that he can see shapes and stuff, but that's pretty much it. So,
right.
And the other guy at that point was one of the stunt guys who was in the gorilla suit for the fight. And it's just, it's hilarious. And all that slow motion stuff is just them moving in slow motion. They did some camera things, I'm pretty sure, but they would have them actually mock it out in slow motion and then throw each other into the buildings. So it was pretty awesome. And again, all that stuff was shot in one day too. We only put him in that makeup one time.
Yeah, I really appreciate the level of quality from the special effects department, and kudos to you and everyone else on the special effects team, because I know it's a crazy, crazy schedule, and it looks really fantastic every time. So,
thanks, man. Thanks.
My hat is off to you.
Awesome. I'd like to take just a minute to thank my whole crew here at Autonomous Effects, because they all do such a good job, and they're hard workers, and especially, like you say, when we get a schedule like this where everything has to be built in about 4 to 6 weeks or something like that for all 8 episodes, it has to be firing on all cylinders. So, we got a good crew, and on this particular show, we had about 11 people here in the shop. Eric Koo and Charlie Hernandez were our main sculptors. David Brook is one of our fabricators and does a lot of other stuff too. Steve Hajiaj did a lot of mold making and ran the appliances for the various episodes. Devin Gold is one of our new up-and-coming stars in the shop, and she does a lot of great work. Aaron Globerman, and he did a lot of mold making and some teeth stuff. He did all the vampire teeth. He's kind of a teeth guy. And they also fabricated those burn bodies, which were pretty cool. The ones with the black light paint that makes it look like they're on fire on the inside.
Oh, cool. That's what that is.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a special kind of paint that they just hit with a black light, and it looks like it's glowing from inside. So that's not a digital effect. That was done practically, yeah. Beth Hathaway and Ivana Scotto, they were our fabricators for it. Of course, Bill Bryan, and another guy we had in the shop a little bit doing some sculpting was John Weldy. So that kind of made up our whole crew for that time, and just running around like madmen and women here in the shop making all that happen.
That is fantastic. And of course, a lot of your crew are also voicing some of the Nubbins in this episode too.
I did the Marty, and then all the other voices ended up being done by voice actors that they hired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was the only one that actually got to go to set besides Dave Snyder and Bill O'Brien.
Gotcha.
Dave Snyder heading up the makeup department. Everyone just pretty much, they would be working in the shop and then sending things out. Because we stay pretty busy here at the shop, and we're always doing like 6 shows at the same time. So it's always a chaotic mess of okay, you got to finish this for that, and then move on to this because this shoots Tuesday and this ships on Thursday, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we keep them pretty busy. But whenever we get a chance to break 1 or 2 of them away to set, we do when we can.
Well, I really appreciate the craftsmanship. So thank you so much, Mike, for providing us such quality effects on the show, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Pod Against Evil.
You got it, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
With that, we're gonna get
up to the show.
with that, I'm gonna run away to our previously scheduled programming right after this. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mike Mcarty. It was great having him on to discuss all the behind the scenes of this great puppet mastery. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about this final battle, guys.
Yes.
This battle for the ages. Stan and Kevin are trying to work together, even though that their disabilities are trying to not let their disabilities hold them down. Mm. I love that Stan is trying to mime to him, visually try and portray his information, and Kevin kind of gets it, or at least enough to do a little bit of what he wants,
right?
To scope out what's happening. And just a small moment here of where Jive Turkey skitters across the lawn and goes. I loved that. It was the little sound that he makes.
I also love John C. McGinley's flourish at the end of explaining things, even in mime, to Kevin. Like when he you do this, and he taps his glasses, you tell me what you see.
Yeah.
And then he pops his hands.
Oh, of course.
That's part of the done. Got it.
I don't think there's ever been
John.
I don't think
John C. McGinley's so great in this.
The physical acting. I don't think there's a guy who brings the level of energy he can to just a simple fist bump. Or his, it's uniquely John C. McGinley, and that's what I like about it.
Like him drawing the "I'm global" and then putting the in the vampire episode.
Yes, I also love the next moment here where they they do after the Warriors reference, they get the Peace Bear, and I know I've seen this. I think this was Assault on Precinct 13, where the Peace Bear just shoots up the whole house with this machine gun that has a silencer on it. And Kevin's like, they must be using a silencer, which I can only imagine is to finish off the hear no evil, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil thing.
Yeah, I assume that's just loud as hell for everybody else, and so they're all like, what are you talking about? No, they're clearly using a silencer. I can barely hear the bullets.
But I think actually before that scene isn't, because Kevin peeks his head out the window, and then the hippie puppet jumps in.
Yes, I forgot about that, where the Groovy Gordy jumps in and starts attacking, to which Stan actually gets another one over. Stan... He may not do so good against, he's actually pretty good against wraiths with shovels and puppets.
Yep.
Those seem to be his adversaries, because he throws Groovy Gordy up against the wall, and Leon takes the aim for the shot, and I love that Groovy Gordy's like, you don't have the guts, pig. And he just shoots him in the head.
Drops him.
And it's
so good.
It's the digital effect on the puppet, but there's a practical explosion of blood in the back. And he just slides down, and it's really dark, like, and real for a minute. Like, they just let it sit just like...
Especially because it is the hippie puppet, too.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, in the whole, like, you don't have the guts, pig. Bam! Like...
Then the whole entire scene, like, before that was all, like, slow-moed out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny and really morbid.
Yeah, I love the time that they took the time to let the puppet just fall and like let it sink in, like that. Take that time to make it real. It just made it that extra funnier to me.
But then, of course,
well, then I guess the closest thing to Speak No Evil is that just nobody listens to Evie because she immediately is like, "Oh, thank God you got it in one shot."
Yeah,
and before she even gets that off,
Drinkwater empties the whole clip. So, I mean, like, he pauses halfway through, spins the gun, and empties the rest of the clip, and then she finally gets to finish the sentence of, "Because my gun is in the car." Those are the only bullets that... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to knock Evie at this point, but between this and the Hex Files episode, where is your fucking gun?
Yeah, well, she was in plainclothes for some reason this scene.
Well, I guess she might have been off duty, and like, in Drinkwater was on, but like, of course, you can't trust Drinkwater with anything.
No.
So immediately as he gets the call, you basically just gotta go.
You could trust him to drop that puppet.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like, between this, I'm just like, why doesn't Evie keep her fucking gun on her? Like,
I think just living in Willard's Mill, I think I'd be armed. Yeah, like it's midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Like, I mean, I'm not even a registered gun owner, but if I was cursed by witches and stuff, I'm arming up, dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, you'd keep shit on. At least I'd keep the fork tongs or whatever that they are that they keep using to kill demons with.
Right, the salad tongs.
At least keep those on me or something. Like, and so yeah, Leon wastes all their ammo, and then suddenly they hear up in the ceiling, "Oh shit, they're in the house.
They're in the pipes.
They're inside the house.
Game over, man!"
At this point, I was like, how many references are going to squeeze into one scene?
I don't know, but I kind of want to see Nate Mooney as Shaggy now.
Yeah. I was thinking of him as
man.
Hudson or
next season I want a full Scooby-Doo rip.
I was just imagining him to go like, "Is this going to be another Nubbin's Hut, sir?" I love the next kill here because they go to check in the pipes as they seem to be traveling through the pipes, which let me know how that works. But Jive Turkey is in the sink in the garbage disposal. Mm-hmm. And that's what they use to kill him. Very a la that Nick Nitro from Small Soldiers, if you remember that scene from Small Soldiers, where they rip up that small doll in this garbage disposal as well. When you're dealing with toys, garbage disposals seem to be a big threat to them. That's what I've learned.
I mean, it's multiple spinning blades. Like, they're kind of a threat to most things. You normally don't stick your hand in them. Mm-hmm. Normally.
And so, yeah, they take care of that one. Convoy Kathy tries to get in as well. But I forget, how did Convoy Kathy get out? I think she actually they hit her in the face and she goes outside, and Drinkwater lets them know about, like, "Oh, we don't have any weapons left," and Drinkwater drops the bomb, like, "Oh, there's 2 live grenades in the car." and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, what? Grenades?" And Evie has a very similar reaction, and he's like, "Yeah, they're just rolling around back there." And I didn't want to tell you.
I didn't want to tell you.
I thought you'd be mad.
Well, it's just, how long have I been driving around with live grenades? Do you want to hear the story or not?
No,
not really.
Like, he seems to have the forethought to actually know, like, I don't want to tell you because you'd be angry. But he doesn't actually...
See, I knew you'd be mad.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything about it because he's Leon.
No. And so it's like, okay, I'll go for it. And then Drinkwater has a rare moment of bravery here where he's like, "No, I'll go." And he runs out, and suddenly we just hear him just getting savaged by Convoy Kathy outside.
I imagine like all 3 remaining numbers just bit him.
Oh, sure. But Convoy Kathy says bit him in his big rig. And we see him just make this great, like, "Oh no," face. And we cut back after a fade out. We come back to Mummy Drinkwater, yes. Which I love that they had enough time to wrap Drinkwater in a full body cast in between the siege here. And the puppets have kind of decided to be done fucking around here, and they're all in robes, which I love too, is that they all in our ceremonial robes. And they decide to summon something. I don't know if it had a specific name. I think they mentioned a specific name at
I think
some
they
point.
said like dark rulers, I think what they said.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It seems like they are just straight up summoning the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping...
But yeah, I wondered. I was like, this doesn't seem like
So
Eccles or Horus or any, like...
I was hoping that it would be a giant evil frog. Like, and not like it wouldn't look completely like Kermit, but it would look enough like Kermit to be like, oh no, he runs Bartertown. This is the Kermit is head honcho in here.
So basically that meme where Kermit's in like the Palpatine robe.
Yeah. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Stan and Evie and the crew are not going to let this stand though.
But they're out of bullets.
They're out of bullets, but lucky enough, Kevin has a Civil War musket in the back, to which they ask him, like, how did you do that? I made my way through Clown College.
Oh, yep.
Clown College, by doing Civil War reenactments, which I have like 1,000 questions
Doesn't seem
about
like
this.
a paying job. Yes, I do too. I was like, where is the market for Civil War reenactments that paid what is the tuition for Clown College? But
I love too because
is the tuition for Clown College somehow paid in like awkward experiences?
But even Evie is like, starts like, how didn't you go to Clown College? And Denise shuts it right down. Like, don't go
there.
Started.
Yeah,
don't go there.
Like this is a recurring thing.
Yeah, which is as good a Denise moment for me as when she won't say her first favorite hobby.
Yes. What are you keeping from us, Denise? We want to know.
What are you? They remember, like, okay, we got a musket and we got like one shot. Well, maybe I should take the shot, Barrett, because I'm blind. Well, I didn't want to go there. And I love that Stan was weighing the options of blind guy or woman.
And he pretty much went to the side of, blind guy's still better.
Well, I mean, Travis,
in fairness, he is daredeviled out.
Yeah, he can see with his ears.
I mean, if you take that into effect, I kind of would trust him a little bit with this, but the joke...
I was like, after the knife-throwing thing, but yes, the joke is misogynistic.
It reminds me of the old adage, Travis, why can't Helen Keller drive? Because she's a woman.
Right.
So, I found that was a pretty good incentive for Evie to, like, just give me the fucking musket. And... while the puppets start to chant their song before, and I don't know what this is, because it sounds so much scarier when they chant it slowly. Doesn't matter who you are, to us you are a shining star. And I was like...
I mean, that's the horror movie premise, though. Like, you can always, like, slow down any nursery rhyme and make it creepy.
That's true.
Like,
I don't know, let's test
fish,
it out here.
2 fish.
It's time to start the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets.
On the Muppet Show tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Or with the Barney song. Yeah, let's not go there.
To introduce our victim is what I'm here to do. They end up taking the shot after they realize, oh, wait a minute. I don't even have to be that accurate, because you know what we have in the back? A barrel of Stan's fucking, or a bunch of Stan's fucking whiskey, or his
explosive beer.
Yeah.
Explosive beer.
And because it's made Stan blind, you know that shit is strong.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's just, like...
Well, he never got the fermentation barrels, right? So he even said, that thing's jet fuel.
Yes, it's...
Yeah.
So...
And we have live grenades in the trunk.
And I love that Evie just basically repeats the line of, like, doesn't matter who you are, to us you are and then just shoots it. Because I'm like... Oh, they wanted to do Smile, you son of a bitch, but they've already done that in a previous episode.
Yeah.
You know that she wanted to do it. She's got the long gun and everything. Like, you know that was in the original script before they were like, oh, damn it, we already did that one before. We can't go back to the well. So they blow up the car in a grand explosion. The puppets get incinerated. Marty flies up into the air. And not only this, but... It seems the car seems to have fixed everything, or is in time with everyone's ailments dissipating, because Stan's blindness is
the flash of the explosion cures his blindness somehow,
and then the explosion brings back that loud explosion must have brought back my hearing. I can hear now. Which
the look on Evie's face of like, that's not how that. You know what? I don't care.
It doesn't matter anymore. It's fine.
And it's like, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. And I love that Stan looks up the musket and is like, oh man, this is great. What a wonderful gift. Thank you, Kevin.
And just like walks away with the musket.
With Kevin like, wait, what?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, which then Denise begins to explain, and then Evie has to explain to Denise. Like, everybody's characters are so established at this point, and their weird little dynamics. Like, I love that you can just pull the trigger on like one line from Stan of like, nice musket. Thanks. Yeah, wonderful gift. Thank you. And then everybody just cascades out their parts from there of like Kevin confused at why his musket's leaving the house, Denise confused at normal human interaction.
Right.
Evie confused at having to explain this to Denise.
Oh boy, but yeah, that's they leave the room, they leave Leon there in his mummy cast or whatever. And we exit out on one more rendition of the song in a happy upbeat tone of doesn't matter who you are, to us you are a shining star. Keep it in the family. And yeah, that was Nubbin But Trouble, guys. What do we think?
It's great.
Les, you're established this is your favorite episode so far.
Yes.
Entire series?
I am a sucker for puppets. I have seen, I have seen all of Syphil and Ollie multiple times. Like, I am a sucker for puppets. I'll watch nearly anything, with sock puppets or especially if you creep them out with like the design on these are great. I don't know. Reminded me of also my favorite Angel episode.
Oh, Smile Time?
Smile Time. Yeah, just wonderful. Also, I love that it brings out something I adore about this show, which is at this point the town is so firmly established as weird that, similar to Supernatural, like they barely have to do any setup. Like the brothers can just hear about a ghost somewhere and like you don't have to establish ghosts, they just roll up and deal with it. And like at this point, a bunch of possessed puppets turn up and we don't spend half the episode trying to figure out like who's after them or why. Just stop it. And they just move straight through it. I love it.
Man, the way you mention Supernatural almost every episode, it makes me think the Supernatural is the Simpsons of horror genre shows. Like, it's like...
I think it's just that the thing has been running so long.
Yeah, like 13 seasons.
Well, I mean, the Scooby-Doo thing seemed like a dare. Like in a writer's room, like, you know what? I bet you we could do a Scooby-Doo episode. It doesn't matter. There's like 20 seasons of this show. It doesn't really matter what we do at this point. So I just love that. Like, I feel like I should like watch Supernatural just for the reference points of like being ready for any.
Yeah, I really don't intend to bring it up that often. I think it's just that it's got. I don't know. Supernatural is not exactly intending to be a comedy, but at the same time, like
kind of ends up being
they're having fun with some stuff.
Sure.
And they Stand Against Evil definitely takes that same established like. You don't have to explain witches at this point. You don't have to explain ghosts. You don't have to explain any of it. You can just drop into an episide and like, what the fuck is going on? Don't worry about it. They've got to kill that thing. It's fine.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, but that was man, what a great time, guys. I am so happy we got to talk about this one. It was a great one. Well, I'm not sure if it's my favorite yet, but we'll see. I got my... this one gave us our puppets and our Fuggler.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yes. Now I know about those.
So, yeah, run out and get your horrible, horrible, terrifying creature that will induce nightmares in you. Or you can check out, some of the Stan merch on shopagainstevil.com and help out the show there. Or, again, help out the podcast subscribing us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also subscribe to Les's stuff. Well, Les has a bunch of projects. Les, what do you got going on?
Over on the tvdudes.com, and also got the good.youngtv.com. And, it's keeping me busy.
Mm-hmm. And, with that, I think we can get on out of here, guys, because, it doesn't matter who we are.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter who you are. It matters who I am.
No, you're
you
not
are
born
a
at all.
shining star.
To us, you
Listen, the
are
point,
a
Nick,
shining star.
is keep it in the family.
Right. So, yes. Until next time, may the owls abide and keep it in the family.
To us, you are a shining star. It's the Nubbin Family Power Hour. Hop, hop, keep it in the family.